Welcome back to In the Ring with Termite and Mister S. Mr. S, it's going to be good.
I'm excited. Welcome back. So we are interviewing today a gentleman that immigrated to this country at a very young age and did not have a lot when he came here. And you're going to hear his story about how he came here with nothing and basically built the American dream. And it's going to be an exciting story. I think you'll be inspired. And I think we just go ahead and roll the intro clip without any delay.
I think we do it.
All right, let's play it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to In the Ring with Termite and Mister S. Our guest tonight didn't begin with advantages. Born in Scotland, he left school at 15 years old. At 21, he arrived in Houston with little money, no diploma, no degree, and no guarantees. Just a 6-week opportunity and the determination to build a better life. What followed was 30 years of building businesses, creating jobs, leading people, and proving that circumstances do not determine destiny. Tonight, we're stepping into the ring with entrepreneur and investor. Please welcome Tommy Sutherland.
Good to see you. Pleasure. It's going to be good.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on out. I know it's been a while. You and I have been trying to get this together. I know you have a very busy schedule, so it finally squeezed into your travels.
No, not at all. It's great. Thanks again for the invite, and I'm glad the time has worked out.
Yes, sir. Pull that mic a little bit closer to you there. That's perfect. Perfect. Yeah, and before we get started, we'd like to jump in and kind of learn about you, where you came from. Obviously, you're from Scotland. We'll hear more about that. Right now, we got a current event that I think is practical, and this is the World Cup. And I heard that you traveled to be with some of your fellow Scots recently.
Yeah, absolutely. I just got back from Boston. So I was over there with my eldest, my son, watched the Scotland against Morocco game. Unfortunately, we got beat 1-0. But tomorrow morning, I'm jumping on a plane with my missus to Miami to go and watch Scotland against Brazil. So here's hoping that we get a result and we qualify for the next stages in the World Cup.
That's awesome. And I've seen all the social media with just the Scots and Boston and all the partying and the fun. And they're definitely a lively bunch.
Oh, amazing, amazing. I mean, Boston was just jumping when I was there. Great experience.
That's awesome. And you're traveling to Miami.
Miami tomorrow morning.
Awesome. Well, let's just jump into that. So obviously born in Scotland, and how did you get to Houston?
I was working for a Scottish company who had acquired an American company, and I was given a 6-week secondment to come over, and that led to an opportunity for me to stay. So I grasped the opportunity with open hands, and here I am, be 30 years come August.
I mean, what is that like? There's a lot of people, I was born in the U.S., but one of the things that not only fascinates me but inspires me is when other people come into our country as immigrants and they seem to succeed more than most people that are born here. And I think there's like a hunger there. That's my assumption. So what was that like for you? Let's explain. When, as a young man, you're leaving your home, leaving everybody you know. Like, obviously, there's something that drove you. Was it opportunity? What made you make such a huge change?
I mean, looking back, the things that used to inspire me was TV. I remember some of the audience will remember, some won't. But Dallas, that was a famous TV show.
There you go.
So we used to watch that back in Scotland. And J.R. Ewan, oil and gas tycoon. I was in oil and gas business back in Aberdeen, and that gave me, an appetite to succeed. Everything was bigger and better in Texas or in America, so opportunities were massive, and it was just a place that maybe had my calling, to succeed with opportunity, and I was thankful enough that I got the opportunity that brought me here. So I didn't take the opportunity lightly. I took it with open arms and did the best I could possibly do to stay here.
And you said it was a 6-week kind of assignment.
It started off as a 6-week secondment, and then I'd obviously put the work effort into it, and they gave me an opportunity to stay in Houston.
So let me catch up on this. So you at 15 you left school. Now that was in Scotland.
Correct. I left school
Okay.
at 15 in Scotland.
And then at what age did you come to Texas or U.S.?
I came when I was 21 years old.
Good Lord. That's just amazing.
Yeah, 21 coming on 22.
Wow.
And know it. You said you dropped out of school at 15, so you didn't have any formal education. We're going to say no education, no formal education after that.
No, I think over here you call it, what's it, GED?
Right?
I don't have a
GED.
GED.
You don't even have a GED.
No, I left it with no
So
qualifications.
you did
just
the school of hard knocks is
pretty
where
much.
your lessons come
Yeah,
from.
I mean, my first job was sweeping a warehouse in Scotland. And then I got promoted into that same warehouse, cutting cable. And then from there, my career progressed to a point, working a quality department, shifting it inside sales, outside sales. I did it in a short period of time. I just had a determination to succeed. And that obviously held me in high regard to give me the opportunity to get the opportunity to come to America. And that's kind of where I'm on now.
Yeah.
Isn't America great?
It's a great country, It's kind of interesting. A lot of people watch the news and they see things that really aren't true.
Yeah.
Until you're actually here, you appreciate the opportunity and what's available to have a better life.
I'm American through and through, Texan through and through, and I love our country. I love it because people just like yourself can do exactly what you did. But I take big offense when people come over here and they talk about America. My theory, if they don't like it, leave.
No, I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
But I admire what you've done.
Thank you. Thank you.
You told a story about before you came here as a kid, you're watching Dallas, right? TV show.
Yeah.
And you're imagining what it's like. I'll share a little story myself. This will date me as well. But when I was a kid, there was a cartoon on TV called DuckTales. It's a Disney thing.
Yeah.
And the character was a Scottish guy and a Scottish duck, right? But he was super wealthy. And he would come over and he was very frugal and he was shrewd, but he was a good businessman and he taught his nephews. And I just remember watching that show just like, man, I want to be like this Scottish guy. Like, how does he learn how to do all this? Because you already know he's an immigrant coming to this country in the cartoon. And he became successful. And so here I am talking to a Scotsman that I meet many years later. And this is great.
Brilliant.
Well, let's end the round one. We'll ring the bell. And we're going to do we'll pause and do a commercial break and be back right after these messages. And now we're back. Welcome back to In the Ring. We're going to continue our interview with Tommy Sutherland. So you're in the U.S. We're progressing here along your story. Now you're building businesses. I don't know how that transition was. So describe, obviously you said you came here with no education. You're just taking an opportunity. Walk us through how coming to the U.S. and how you became to what you are today, successful-wise. What did that look like? What were some of the challenges?
So, as I mentioned, the company that I'd worked for, I came over from Scotland. They unfortunately got hit with a bad debt through a shipyard down in Mississippi. And the company I was working for was going through some tough times, solvency issues. And knowing that was close, I had to make a decision myself. My wife was carrying my child, and the opportunities I had to go back to Scotland were very limited. So by doing so, I found a way to earn a living, and I worked as a agent, like a commission agent, for a number of companies from the UK, predominantly in Scotland. I spent a lot of time, in my early 20s down in Mississippi, Alabama. And, I was just blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy. And they took to me down there. I didn't know what was going on back down there. Things have changed quite a bit. But I made some good contacts there. and well received, and it gave me the ability to earn money through commission arrangements with these companies I represented. And then from there, I progressed, saved my money, had a small, 2-bedroom house up in Copperfield, and my wife was a nurse. She was pregnant with my son, and from the garage there, I just started stocking a wee couple of reels of ground cable, and then from there, I stocked more, I sold more, moved in a smaller facility in Britmore, which wasn't a Britmore like it is just now, and then from there, it was just, organically grew belts and braces. No finance, no bank, just trading. Bootstrapping.
The classic started in my garage story.
Yeah, that's true. 100% true.
Wow. And then so it was through the hardship of this company that you were working for that made you feel unstable. And you said, I got to do something.
Yes.
Of course, having a family, a growing family, that puts a little fire underneath you.
It puts a lot of pressure on you. I embraced America. I was only here for just 2 years, but I already knew the opportunity as soon as I set my foot on the ground, So I would be foolish to go back. I would be kind of going back on myself and be losing any opportunity I had in America. So I prepared to give it a go. And
is that how you felt? You feel like you'd be betraying yourself to an extent, like, hey, I'm giving up. I'm going to go back, throwing in the towel.
Yeah, the options were limited.
Yeah,
I had a choice. I'd seen the opportunity. I'd already made contacts. I said, my wife wasn't going to continue being a nurse. She was going to look after my child, which is my son. And that was a decision we made. Give it a go and build on that platform that I created with the business I'd worked for. And that's what continued me living here.
And you say you were talking to the people in the South, like Mississippi and Alabama. You said they took to you.
Yeah.
And one of my questions I had here to ask you is sales talent, is it natural or is it a skill learned?
It's a people's game. You know how to
It
speak. It is a people's game. You can't really rehearse it. I don't think so. You either got it or you don't. People buy from people.
That's true.
People buy from people, but you can talk to you for 5 minutes and you feel comfortable. I just met you and I feel comfortable around you. And you've got that ability. Some people got it, some people don't. And you do.
Well, thank you. The people I was dealing with down there, there was no real dress rehearsal there. They were just humble shipyard folk. And I seemed to relate to them. And I wasn't really interested in what else was going on down the Deep South. There's still a lot of bad stuff going on down there, but
sure.
I was immune to it. I just really didn't care.
You're focused.
To it. Right. I was focused, and that was it.
You had a family to take care of. That was your problem. You didn't care about the other problem. I get that. When did you realize that you could build companies? You started in your garage. You're obviously still working for somebody else. Was there a light bulb moment that says, hey, I think I might be good at this? Or you weren't sure that it takes several years before you really felt like, hey, this is who I'm supposed to be? Or was it an instantaneous thing?
No, I ran my business on the fly. That's the truth. Salesmanship. If you can't sell something or create revenue, you don't have a business. Right. So you could be the smartest accountant in the room, great at HR, great operations, but if you can't create revenue, then you don't have a business.
That's right.
That's what I was good at. I could create opportunities, drive revenue. The other things there, I didn't do it well. I didn't have an experience. So going through that for a number of failures took me to the point of building other businesses of where I am just now. But it was a journey to get to where I'm at.
That's a big one. And I'll pause on that. That's one of the things I like to highlight, especially on this show, bringing people like you that have achieved success. Many people in the outside world will judge or just say, hey, you're just lucky. If I had a life like yours, I could have made it happen. And they see the success. They don't see the failures. Yeah. And I don't think that's anything we don't really like to talk about those. It's not like we're hiding them. But to me, this show kind of helps highlight, look, we have to learn from failures, and you just got to keep going. Any particular failure that you can think of? We don't have to get into it deep, but that whole idea of like, you know what? I could give up at this point. but I'm not going to?
I'm open now. I'm pretty transparent, or I'm transparent. So if somebody can learn something from me, then I've done my job. That's the stage I'm at in my career. So somebody asked me a question: if you could undo the mistakes that you made, how much would it be worth? 10 million.
Interesting.
That's how much I lost. So that's a number for you.
That's the price of your education, is how I see it.
A big number.
Yeah.
But without that failure, there's not success.
Correct.
It's at Thomas Edison. It's a great book. I don't know if you've ever read it, but he failed 10,000 times on the light bulb, and he said, a teacher or somebody was saying, well, you've had so much failure on this, and Thomas Edison looked at him and said, but there can be no success without failure. And evidently, you took that failure and you turned it into success, which is amazing.
You're right, Donald. I mean, a lot of people aren't proud of announcing their failures. I'm quite open about mine. I'm a good part of my life now, but it didn't come without the failures that I encountered.
Right.
And it was more than one.
Got it. Well, let's take a pause on another round. Let's ring the bell. And that is the end of round 2. And we'll pause for a commercial break. And now we're back, and we're going to continue with Tommy Sutherland. And he's talking about failures. And one of the things I wanted to ask you, now that you've progressed in your whole career, is there something that, this might not be an easy answer, what would you say separates builders from dreamers? People that just dream, because I've talked to a lot of people that have really big dreams, but they usually take their dreams to their grave. The majority of people, I think, take them to their grave. So what separates a dreamer between someone who builds and actually executes those dreams?
How you handle rejection.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
You'd be surprised the amount of people who can't handle rejection.
It's not comfortable.
It's not comfortable.
People take it personally.
Rejection hurts.
I've gone through
hurts.
that. We all have.
So yeah, you've got to be take it on the chin in a boxing term,
Yeah.
and march on.
Is there any particular point of rejection that you think is worth sharing, that you care to share?
I've had plenty of them in my life. I've been double crossed. I've been stolen from. I've went through a life story of rejection moments in a sales environment to waiting for that next big deal that didn't happen. Roll the dice on something. All those fall under a rejection bucket.
Yeah.
I've had countless ones I can reflect on.
That's great. And it's the choice to keep going after the rejection. And then there's a book I read, I wish I remember the title, something about 100 ways to get rejected. This guy literally went on a journey. He was scared of rejection so much that he identified, I need to not be scared. So he tried to get rejected 100 times, and he chronicled it. It's quite interesting. And I think you and the rest of us, we're not writing a book, but I think mentally we recognize, if I want to get to the next level, I need to learn how to take it on the chin. I need to learn how to get past this rejection. And like you said, a lot of people can't handle it. And
That's true.
they crumble.
You've evidently been able to get knocked down, and of course the secret is always getting back up.
100%.
And you've done that.
Yes, 100%.
And, I think sometimes people get knocked down, and it's like that rejection. They quit trying, or they don't try as hard, or they go to something else. And just because you get knocked down doesn't mean you're not in the right field, doesn't mean you're doing the wrong thing. Evidently, you did the wrong thing for that second. But getting knocked down in business, in life, is just part of life. And you just got to always get back up. And that's whether it's being with our families, with our businesses, whatever it might be. We're going to get knocked down sometime.
I think determination gets you through most things in life.
Right.
You might have you might lack in the talent part. You can use education, all these other factors. But if you've got that determination to overcome rejection,
Right.
you will get there.
Yeah.
Along those same lines, this is something I'm actually currently trying to go through and understand. And it's when do you persist versus walk away? Because I've built up the fighter within me to just keep going and fight, get back up. But there is a point where you realize let's say you're fighting the wrong battle, so to speak. So when do you just keep on going and you know that you're fighting for the right thing versus, hey, I'm not going to dump any more energy into this? How have you handled those situations?
Again, what you'll learn from me is what I share stories is the life experiences. This is not something written out of a book or somebody's told me. From a business sense, when you talk about walking away, it usually comes with a financial burden, if that's what we're talking about. Looking back, some of the biggest mistakes I made was not walking away and just hoping the circumstances would change. And that could be in anything in life, but certainly for business practical terms. Being organised in a way, or being prepared to put a line in the sand is when enough's enough. You know, before you go too far that you've maybe lost more money than you can handle, or be at a point, you're at a break-even point where, you can walk away, you've learned from it, you can start again, you still got maybe dignity in your business. So it's identifying when to pause on the brakes and when to walk away. That's key.
Yeah.
And that's, like you said, it's experiential knowledge. You almost can't even write a book about that because it is so personal. How do you get to that?
My biggest challenge when I was younger was I was emotionally involved in something. So I had a tendency to think it would work, had to work. But things change, circumstances change. Yeah. We've seen what's happened in life with COVID and oil and gas, upturn, downturn, technology. Some of those things are not based on your business etiquette. Circumstances change, so you have to navigate with the change. If you don't navigate with the change and you continue the same path that you'd hoped would be successful, and it's not the same path, then that's when trouble starts. So it's being adaptable, nimble, and ready to back up when you can.
And identifying that, so you learn to do that.
Take the emotions out of it. Take emotions out of business.
That is very tough because we're emotional creatures, all of us are.
Correct.
And to learn how to do that. I'd say that's in the fighting space too. It's like you got to just focus. You got to shut off your emotions, and that's hard to do.
Yes.
I would say one of the last things I'll ask before we ring the bell, go to the next one, is how has success changed your perspective, I guess, on some of these things on business? Now that you have achieved, a level of success, has any perspective changed, or?
I'm a good place in my life that money is not a motivator, and I've got a lot of gratitude for that, So I've learnt a lot through my journey. I'm grateful for my journey, despite the setbacks I've had in my personal life and business life. And success for me is allowing me to give back a little bit of knowledge, and this is a great platform to do that. So more of this is deemed as successful for me.
And we're thankful for it.
Yeah.
Well, with that, we're going to ring the bell on that round and say we're going to take another word from our sponsors and be right back.
This is final.
What's that?
This should be final. This last round is the final round.
Oh, okay.
Because you want to be 30?
Yes.
This will be the final round.
Okay. Now, welcome back to In the Ring with Tommy Sutherland. Over the course of all these different lessons that you've learned, how would you say your leadership has evolved? Obviously there's the personal side, but now you talk about wanting to give back. Now it's with others. It's like you can focus now outward on people. And I think that is kind of a natural progression. It's like put your mask on first in the plane, and then you can help others. So you've done that. Now it seems like you're in that phase of life of helping others. So how has your leadership evolved through these personal journeys and helping others?
I sincerely enjoy mentoring people, and I've proven that by some of the businesses I'm involved in. So it's not a case I have to turn up every morning. I actually enjoy the mentoring aspect to it, helping the youth of today, help them develop their careers. So that's an enjoyable experience for me.
So Tommy, you have a son.
I have 3 children, yeah.
You have 3 children.
Yeah.
Okay, their ages?
My eldest is of a 27, of a 25-year-old, and a 6-year-old.
Oh, good span.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. I like it. So I know you've been in several businesses. Kind of give me, just so I can catch up, and so the people, because I've tried a lot of things in my life. And what are the businesses that you're successful in that you're doing? Have you done several businesses or just a handful?
I've done several plus.
Okay, so you're like me and Donald.
Is there a one where are there categories that you tend to feel more drawn to or avert?
When I was younger, I used to like shiny things. You know, fun stuff.
Right.
Nightclubs, bars, stuff like that I had no idea what they're all about other than to drink and dance. So what I've learned over my career now is I stick to a space that I understand, the industrial space. Call it the non-sexy space. That's in my comfort zone, and I stick to that.
The boring businesses.
Yeah, if there's a vertical that involves in that, then I'm happy in that space. The other ones that I've jumped into, and I've exited some of them. I did 5 deals last year. Some of them, I didn't feel I created any value to those businesses. They asked me to be a part of them. But I stick to what I know best, where I can create value to it.
And based on what you've learned, what are, in your opinion, some signs that a company will not scale or they're just not going in the right direction?
All starts from the top. I mean, leadership is the bottleneck there, so they have to embrace change and lead by example. It just comes from the top. And
the team has to play together well.
yeah, you've got to have a team works. There's no question. That has to be the glue sticks together. You have the right personalities in the right seats.
Yeah, you gotta. Everybody's got to do their part. You can't have any lone rangers. You know, trying to. Well, I guess you could have a lone ranger that's going out and selling or whatever, but ultimately it's got to be a team. Everybody's got to do their part. So picking the right team is important.
There is a strategy. The strategy which I learned the hard way is if you take somebody, for example, who's maybe who's used to and enjoys working in a warehouse, for example. He could be forklift driver or it could be turning equipment, and you feel that he'd be more beneficial in a sales department, and he doesn't want to be in a sales department, but you put him in there, then it's called putting a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. So you've got to use people for their strengths, where they need to be, and put them in the right seat. As soon as you put the wrong people in the wrong seat, friction doesn't scale.
That's very well said.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of us some time to learn that.
Personalities are key. Getting the right personalities in a business.
Yep. Now that you are successful, are there what would you say is the most misunderstood thing about money for people that maybe don't know or think that's the answer to everything, and that you might have held before you achieved a level of success?
I'll use a Scottish word, it's a hard graft. You get nothing for free. There's a lot of social media attention that all these quick, rich schemes, I don't think they exist.
Yeah.
I mean, they may for the seldom few, but you got to put the work in.
Yeah.
You got to put the work in.
What would your advice be for entrepreneurs that I would say are waiting for permission at this point in their life? What would your advice be to someone just kind of waiting to do what you've been doing?
I mean, don't wait. If there's a window of opportunity that you feel that you can capitalize on it, run with your gut. I think a gut instinct is key. I mean, somebody can present a balance sheet with you. It gives you all the the ingredients for success. But gut instinct, hunger and desire to succeed will overcome any balance sheet computation. So
Right.
if you have it in here and you have it in here, then give it your best shot. Then live life with no regret.
And the worst thing could happen is you fail, then you just go do it again. Just go
100%.
try.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's all about giving your best shot, coming back up, and you learn from it.
Yeah.
You learn from it.
Well, as we wrap it up, obviously you're still going. So we've talked a little bit about what you have done, what you got you here today. What are some of the things that you still hope to accomplish and dream? What are you trying to build now on these next chapters in your life?
I have Sutherland Holdings, which is an investment fund, which I created here in Houston, Texas. And I'm involved in a number of investments. Some of them's property. I have a house building business in Garden Oaks, Oak Forest. So there's residential part to it. I have one of my principal business, which is UTEX, which I've jumped in as the interim CEO. I'm enjoying it. We'll continue investing in founder-led businesses and help them scale. That's
Awesome.
what I do for a living. The businesses that the private equity or VC companies are not interested in, where I can create value, I can relate to a founder who either wants to exit or doesn't have, a family legacy they can hand it to. I can protect its legacy. I can put it in a good place. I can protect the people. I can scale it. I can exit it. I can grow it. That's what I'm doing, and that's what I enjoy doing.
And tell us where someone can get in touch with you online, or what was your web domain? Where would you encourage someone to go if they wanted to get in touch with you?
They can email me at contact@tommysutherland.com, and my website is sutherlandholdings.com, and we're here in Houston, Texas.
That's awesome. And I feel like the time has flown by, and I wanted to close out with one last question. If a listener that's listened to all this only remembers one lesson from your story, where you can convey, one bit of your legacy, what would that be?
Oh, great question. Success doesn't happen overnight.
I think that's nice and short and sweet.
Boy,
That goes the whole, that wraps it up right there.
it doesn't get any more clear than that.
Well, Tommy, thank you so much. We're going to wrap this up, and we thank you for our listeners and our viewers. And whenever we wrap this up, we do it like boxing style, and life does come at you. So what we're going to do is have you look into your camera, and we're going to look into ours, and we're going to tell you to keep their guard up. So we're going to tell our listeners,
Just a boxing term.
just keep the guard up, and we're going to close it out. Keep your guard up.
Keep your guard up.